Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S. back with another video. This one, a football video. I hope you can hear me because my brother's playing some very loud music for some reason downstairs. Anywho, as I say, hope you can hear me clear enough. This is going to be about football for those who follow football, and obviously it's a Celtic video. So anyway, I'm just talking about the recent rumours about Roy Keane potentially becoming the Celtic manager, and a lot of fans are concerned about Roy Keane, and they don't think he's the right man for the job because for various reasons, which I hope to go into in this video. And I hope to talk about the negatives first, or what I think, what worries me, and probably a lot, and most of the Celtic fans, I'm sure, about his potential placement or as a manager. And I also hope to talk about some of the positives and save those till the end because I want to save the best till the end. So some of the things which worry me but also excite me about the potential of Roy Keane being manager. So here goes. So one of the things is I think that his his record as manager of the teams he's managed, like Sunderland and Ipswich, I think was another team he managed, hasn't been really good. So his track record of managing a top flight club has not really been that great. Although some people say if you look at the actual record, he did take Sunderland up from the Championship to the Premier League. So his record isn't as bad as it sounds, perhaps, but he hasn't really got a record of managing a top flight club, which I think Celtic are. I know that a lot of people in England might think that Celtic are not a top flight club because they don't see the sorry, I'm thinking in the background. I hope they'll be up soon. They don't think of Celtic as a top flight club because it's not as good as a Premier League team. But I think obviously from the Celtic fans' point of view, they may well. It is a top flight club for us, obviously for Celtic fans, and I think Scottish football does have a lot of passion in it. So it is a top flight club in many ways. So his record at top flight management does worry me a lot. God's sake, of all times. But yeah, so that does worry me. The other thing is he does have a tendency to get on people's wrongs, or for people to get on his bad side, if you know what I mean. So he does argue with people a lot, and if he doesn't get along with them, he does have strong opinions. Whereby, sorry, I should have turned my Facebook off. He does have strong opinions on things, and therefore, if he doesn't get along with people, he might fall out with them. So that is a bit worrying. And as I say, his record as a manager, which is quite strange considering how good of a captain he was for Man United in those days where they were really strong as well. It hasn't been that great as a manager or a coach, as far as I'm aware. Certainly not in management, anyway. And he has fallen out with people, so that is a bit of a worry as well. So if he doesn't get his way, he might fall out with people. So yeah, I can't really think of many other reasons, but yeah, those are quite big reasons. So his record in top flight management, also his falling out with people, and that sort of thing, in spite of the fact he was a really good captain. But he did that through sometimes like shouting at people and being aggressive, which a third thing probably is that what a lot of Celtic fans talk about is he's an old school sort of style player or manager. So he doesn't really have the modern game at heart, or he doesn't have he doesn't know much about the modern game, perhaps, where the modern players, people say they'll go to HR if you shout at them or things like that. So in his day, like Alex Ferguson, you could shout at players, but now you're not really supposed to do that. You've got to have a little bit more of a calm management style. So you've got to be able to get on better with people rather than shout them down. So it's a bit of a different. They say football's changed quite a lot. It's not the same as it was in the old days or the old school days because it's like player power. They can go to their HR or their unions or whatever. And so that does worry me. And so yeah, his record in management, his ability to get on more people, and his ability to adapt to the modern game and things like that, and having his own opinions, being strong-minded, strong-headed, might not always be that great when you're trying to listen to other opinions as well. Other than that, I can't think of any others, but I'd love to hear from Celtic fans Sorry, my dog's going off. I'd love to hear what other Celtic fans think are some of the negatives about Roy Keane. So I want to try and think of the positives and the negatives. But I do have, I know I can be a bit like a kid when it comes to football. I can, generally, but I can be excitable about certain things. So I do think there are some positive things potentially. I myself have never been a United fan, but there are some positives which I hope to come to now. So anyway. So some of the positives of Roy Keane potentially being a manager of Celtic are, one, first of all, the link between Celtic and Man United could be expanded so that more Man United fans or people who are fans of Roy Keane and what he did for their club might become Celtic fans. So we could have more of a reach because of his reputation around the world. Perhaps people who followed Man United all around the world in Asia and Africa and elsewhere, hopefully could become Celtic fans. So hopefully we could increase our fan base, which is good for like marketing, and a lot of football nowadays is about money and how many fans you've got. Like if they buy the kit and stuff like that. So it could expand the marketing of the club as well. So that's one thing I think is quite an exciting prospect. I think Celtic and Man United do get on quite well normally anyway, but I think that also this could expand the relationship. A second thing, which I think would be quite exciting, is to see the rivalry between Steven Gerrard and Roy Keane, which is obviously from Man United and Liverpool days, where they used to battle, so to speak, do battle against each other. Football fans will know what I'm talking about, I think. But they used to do battle, so to speak, against each other. So obviously, and both were like quite fierce midfielders, so they would go in for what do they call it? Kind of thing, straight. They're going for tough tackles and things like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Something like that. I can't think of the words to say, but so I think that is quite an exciting prospect to think of that old rivalry coming back. A third thing is, as a captain, although he hasn't managed to translate into management yet, hopefully he could with Celtic if he does come to us, but to come to manage us. But the thing is, Roy Keane was a very good captain at getting people to improve their play, and although he did it in an old school way, but I don't know how he could do that to the modern game. But he was good at getting the best out of players, and Gerrard is quite good at doing that with Rangers. Like he shouts at players when he needs to, and he's done that himself as well. So it does show there is some room for that even in the modern game. A fourth thing is that he could also learn to adapt to the modern game. If he was, I'm sure it's not that difficult for him to. I know it's difficult probably to change habits, like old school habits. If you're used to doing things a certain way, used to getting your own way or shouting at people, but I'm sure he could perhaps work with someone who could help him to adapt to the modern game, where he can learn about how to deal with people without being too emotional or too angry with them or whatever, or shouting them. He could perhaps find a better way to get things out of them, or shout when he needs to, but not necessarily when he doesn't need to. Another thing is perhaps he could work with some of his old Man United teammates, and they could discuss ideas about how to bring that winning. As I say, I've never been a United fan myself, but they did have a very winning mentality. In fact, when I was younger, I probably used to, maybe even back then, I probably used to hate them because they were always winning. Nowadays, I say I don't like to hate anyone or anything, but back then I probably did hate them because for a while I was actually a Liverpool fan when I was younger, and also they used to always win, so I think people were always jealous of them. But they do have that winning mentality, which is what I think we need to bring back at Celtic. So in a way, I would be quite excited to see that winning mentality. I don't think many Celtic fans, from what I've heard, have been quite excited about him as being the manager, although I'm sure most would have acknowledged that he was a very good captain. He was supposed to, I think they say he was the best captain of the Premier League era, and one of the best captains who's ever played in England, or even in world football, because English football is club team level at least is up there. So he could bring that winning mentality, which I think we need to come back, which sort of left us this year in one of the most important years. So I do think there are some positives, as I say, as well as negatives. Just hope he can adapt. If he does come to Celtic, I hope he can adapt to the game. Another thing is he is a Celtic fan as far as I'm aware, so with the Irish roots and the Irish connection. So I think that could be something that's really positive. So I think that could be a positive thing, because he is a Celtic man, so he could actually have that passion for the club, which other managers might not have. But it doesn't always obviously work that way. It didn't work that way for Neil Lennon, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. But hopefully that can hopefully that can be something positive. So I'd love to hear what other Celtic fans think about that. And I know I've probably been waffling quite long, so I'd love to think about any negatives or positives you think, or could he adapt to the modern game? Anyway, enough of me waffling, and I'm out. Peace out.